But there are proposals of rule amendments on what has been presented by the NA table. Let's engage on the rule amendment. So we hear you, Honorable Manye, you'll write to Mr. Kaso because he like everything, you want everything in writing. So you'll write to Mr. Kaso, but let's engage on the proposals that are being made. What is our take on them? Honorable Ndlozi?
Thanks, Chair. So let's start with the motions without notice phrasing. It seems to me the original idea, and Karen can confirm this, but in the old rule, the rule that we are amending, a motion without notice must have the prospect of being adopted, or it must have the prospect of a decision. That is a numbers game by and large. So we don't need to use these phrases. We can be direct about it. Because the rule before this 9th edition, if you recall, you would have to oppose it in the House itself. There was no prior mechanism. Then we introduced this prior mechanism by 10 o'clock, and then if the parties say no, blah, blah, blah. But in that mechanism, what you are really doing is testing the a priori. It's bad, but it's okay. We did that even then. We totally disagree. But you are trying to have a numbers game. So you're testing whether the motion will have the prospect of a decision. So I would say be direct that parties representing, at least don't make the rule for now. You might have parliament that is hung by 10% across the board. You might have parliament that is hung by a different number than what we have now. So parties, I would say, if that is the case, if we agree about that, then we say parties representing majority or 50% of the National Assembly. So either we use, on the condition we have fixed, we agreed what majority means in the definitions. So actually we can use majority. Parties representing a majority. So if it's 5 parties, but they don't constitute a majority, it's unfair. So you might have 5 parties, together they constitute 5% because they have 1% each. And then the motion falls apart because then you're not achieving the objective of testing its prospect. So here you are being too verbose. At least 5 parties, including the largest and the second largest, just to arrive at a thing that says parties representing the majority of the National Assembly. So I would say phrase it like that. That is my proposal. Otherwise, the section 89 panel new proposal, it's actually very fine for that extension to be granted. We are fine with that, including those things of removing members of parliament. Must state our objection there. They are wrong, those things of removing members of parliament. I can't remember. And then the last one is the content of section 89. It's not part of what is referred to us. So we're a subcommittee. We don't actually deal with matters that don't come from the Rules Committee. So where the proposal should go is to the Rules Committee. as to whether we are still going to canvass the amendment of the rule itself. It will be repeating because this proposal was suppressed by the ANC in the last term. And then two, the DA was with us. I don't know now. This DA of yours, now they may be on the other side. But I agree 100% with Honorable Manyi. Fortunately, it's in the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court will, I think in that ruling, come back with the fact that part of what is not rational is saying that somebody has a prima facie case to answer and then say people must vote whether he must answer that or not. This is travesty of justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ndlozi. Honorable Ghana.
Thank you very much. So in terms of, let me start at the end. I think the intention of the Section 89, it's a question of a time frame, not so much what will have happened with a particular case. And I think it's a fair way of handling it, in that should the matters that are before the Section 89 maybe at the first instance people thought that it's could be done in 3 months, but it's not done, then those powers to extend are then given to the Assembly as a whole, and not just for the Speaker to use Rule 6 to keep on extending that period. I think that's a right way to deal with it. So the Speaker has got one bite, and then after that, it's up to the Assembly to deal with that. So that one, it's fully agreed, at least from my side. And also on I don't see anything particularly wrong with on the removal question. I think the motions without notice, it's more the practicality and the timings. So the practicality and the timing. So if you look at the rule from the top in terms of the timings, so a member or a party submits by 10 o'clock, and then the circulations happen by 11 o'clock, and then the parties indicate 30 minutes before, and by that time, let's say a member was under the impression that they can read out the motion, but then as the sitting starts, they're told that no, actually your motion has been objected to, and that's where the practicality comes in. It's not so much in how we phrase the amendment to 123(2)D Roman figure 4, but in terms of how do we effect it in practice? How do we effect it in practice? Because for me, especially if you read that in case, let's say in the sitting, one member stands up and says we object, the motion falls away. And now the question is, this rule, its effect in changing how the motions without notice are handled is very minimal, if it exists at all. And that's what we need to think about, because if you have a situation wherein, let's say it's myself as Rising Suns, giving an example, that let me not use MK, let me use the ANC, reads a motion that I don't agree, then I'm not part of the 5. So when I submit to say I object to this, then I'm told that you are the only one who objects. Therefore, I get into the house and object. So the effectiveness of the rule itself comes into question, whether the rule can really be applied. It's one of those nice to have, but in practice, it hasn't been effected. And that for me, it's neither here nor there, because a member can object in the sitting. So the technical nature does not assist much. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ghana. Honorable Michalaikis.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honourable Ndlozi's argument on Rule 123 makes a lot of sense. I think he should be representing the official opposition, but maybe if we give him enough time, he soon will. Chairperson, but I am happy with all three of the proposals. They make a lot of sense, and I am amenable to considering the proposal that was made over there. The member is right that it is a numbers game. But I'm also quite happy for it to go through as the proposal that's been proposed to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Michalaikis. Honorable Mahlaule.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chief Whip. Look, I also don't have issues with the first one, because to me, whether you start with parties that will make 50% plus or not, there is an opportunity in the House when it's rejected or it's opposed to test those numbers again in the House. So it's neither here nor there whether you do it when it's coming or you do it inside. To me, it doesn't matter. So I agree with the proposal as it is in the proposal by parliamentary staff. The closing of doors, I agree with the proposal. Now, the issue of Section 8(9), and I agree to a larger extent with Honorable Ndlozi that what Honorable Mani is raising does not belong here. What we are dealing with here is that when it happened in 2022, the committee was created, which was given 30 days to deal with the issue. And they felt that it's not enough. Then they went to the Speaker to ask for extension. Now, the Speaker did not have a direct reference where she can take the rule to extend the days. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're fixing so that the Speaker does not go back to unforeseen eventualities, because we can't use the unforeseen eventualities rule when we know that this is still coming, it has come before. We want to place it in a rule where the Speaker will be empowered to deal with it. And the proposal here is clear to say, let's place the Speaker in a better position to can make a ruling whether the extension of that committee to do its work and assessment is informed by what. And that's what we're dealing with. The other issues, we'll deal with them as and when they come to the committee at a later stage. But let's deal with what we have now, that we're empowering the Speaker with this clause so that she doesn't go and quote things that are not direct, you know, they are just general in their application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mahlaule. Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, yes, I also agree that I think with regards to the proposal in terms of Rule 123 2D, it won't have such a big effect if we were to change it to parties constituting the majority of the House instead of the very technical measurement of 5 parties, including and so forth. Because we do have to remember that there's a twofold approach. It is a numbers game, but it is not as well. It's not a numbers game when it comes to the House. When it comes to the House, any member that objects to a motion, the motion is destroyed. But if we want to prevent a motion to be read in the House, which is public record, that is why the first phase is there. And that is why you would want a measurement of a significant number of members, a significant number of parties saying we don't even want this motion read. We don't want this motion on record even just in hindsight. And that's where the numbers game comes in. So I think a majority, parties constituting a majority, will actually serve that purpose better than the 5 parties and so forth. And then the addition and the proposal with regards to making it more concrete in terms of sub-rule 4 will, I think, serve the second phase approach with regards to it being read, but it not being converted or it not being approached as a motion without notice. Rest of the proposals, Chairperson, I'm in agreement with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vessels. Honorable Manye.
Chair, I think each administration must have a duty to make sure that the rules are in line with that particular administration. With this administration, where we have the coalition situation, it means everything is predetermined because the coalition has got its own rules where they meet outside and agree that we never agree or disagree on this and that. So which just undermines the entire spirit of what we're trying to do here. Unless we come up with a position, Chair, that says everything that happens in the executive and all the alliances, coalitions they have there are not applicable in Parliament. Because when you say majority, it's clear that the coalition will always have its say. So, and yet if it was not, so I'm saying with the administration that we have now, which is going to last for the next 5 years, we need to make sure that the rules talk to that. And what we are agreeing with now is that if it's not what the coalition wants, then forget it, it's not going to happen. This is what we're saying now. So I have a problem with that, Chair, because it means then the coalition might as well do it as they please. This is what we're saying.
Thank you very much. I want us to step off these items. Honorable Mahlaule, then I'll go to Karen and Mr. Paso. Thank you.
Well, it becomes very difficult to assist, even if we were to agree with the view raised, to assist in accommodating, because there's no coalition. And if we were to use that word, it means we won't be able to make rules for this 7th administration. So we can't even start to help, even if we wanted to.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. No, so I think there's broad agreement on the closing of doors during a division in the Section 89 panel, with, of course, the fact that that there will be a further submission on the Section 89 procedures. I think when it comes to motion without notice, Dr. Ndlozi is right. When we were looking at this, it was effectively a numbers game, and I think that was also mentioned. So the one question is, what is in fact the purpose of the rule? If the purpose is to ensure that, say, a motion that is, for argument's sake, say, deeply offensive for whatever reason, and then the majority of the parties that constitute a majority then say, no, we object, and therefore the motion can't be read as into Hansard when it's moved. So the one possibility is in fact, and maybe we shouldn't do this now, but in fact, assess what is the actual purpose of this rule and whether that is achieving its intended purpose. But maybe we could also put options to the Rules Committee. The one perhaps that as it stands now. The other possibility is talking about the parties constituting 50%. So we could have those two options. Thanks.
Thank you very much.